Hi, I'm Lisa Saunders. Welcome to PAC-B TV. I'm out of Baldwinsville, New York, and I have a very special guest with me today, somebody that I see as I'm walking along the Erie Canal, which is also the Seneca River in Baldwinsville. Welcome. Tell us who you are and what we're going to show today.
Hi, Lisa. My name is Paul Pacelli, and what we're going to see is some photos I've taken from along the canal and the river area, and there are some things that people don't always see, but I kind of like to, make people aware of all kinds of things that can be seen there.
And this is near Lock 24. So if people go to Lock 24, can they see what you see?
They can see that, and if they go down Marble Island,
which is right near there.
Right, or the walkway there behind Lock Street. That's also a good place to see this.
Now, I've seen the large birds, but I'm pretty excited that you caught them actually in action doing something. I go to the river to walk by it probably 3 or 4 times a week, and I'm always marveling at the birds and other wildlife. Do you have a particular time of day that you go?
Well, I try to get down there just probably an hour after sunrise and a couple hours before sunset.
Is that the busiest time, you think, for birds?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. All right. Well, thank you so much for pulling this slideshow together. I'm thrilled to show it. Now, what are we looking at? What kind of bird is this?
This is a flycatcher. They're a small bird, and you'll see them sitting on the lower branches along the shoreline, and they will, as their name says, they're after insects. And they'll sit and they'll dive after them, and they'll usually jump back right up on the same perch again and go back down and keep going up. But you see them sitting along the river after looking for insects.
I actually have never noticed them. Or if I did, I didn't think twice about them. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, well, let's say there's a lot of things that along the river that, all you have to do is look and they're there.
All right, well, let's keep going then.
Now this is
you didn't line them up like that? They were doing that on purpose?
It wasn't easy to get them to all stay there like this. This took about a month of coaching to do this. No, one day I happened to be down to the river, and I looked out and I looked on the log and I go, what is that? And it looked like there was a traffic jam of turtles. That everyone was waiting for the one in front of them to move or get going. And I thought, well, all their heads are up, like rubbernecking. All right.
Is this a stationary log?
Pardon?
Is this a stationary log? One of those that gets stuck? Okay.
Yep. This is the log that's out there by those. It's out there by those little islands when the water's down. And when I saw these turtles on there, I thought it was an opportunity for a picture.
So how many times a week do you go?
Probably 4 or 5 times a week.
You do? Okay. So this is all right, because I was wondering how you happen to catch such striking images. And the reason I know what your images are is because I see you on that Facebook. It's a private Facebook group, but if you live around here or from here, you might be people can get on. What's that called?
Right.
You're from Baldwinsville when? Anyway, that's how I started seeing your images. And I do see you out and about because I like to go by the river as well. So, That is just as cute as that can be. Is there a name for these kind of turtles? Do you know?
I believe they're painted turtles.
Okay, because I did see one laying eggs once on the side of the river, and that was kind of thrilling.
I did too. That one happened to be a snapping turtle that I saw.
Oh, that was a snap. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really see the eggs. I just saw that she was digging something. So I figured that's what she's probably doing.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you. All right.
Oh.
Are those water chestnuts that everyone complains about, or is this something else?
This is a water lily.
Oh, okay. And that's the greenery that they come with?
Yes.
Oh, it's
and they're typically usually white. Sometimes they are yellow. but
Mm-hmm.
usually white, and they can be seen along the river.
Is there any,
Um,
what time of year is this? I don't know that I
this is
even.
probably midsummer,
Mm-hmm.
and again, there's two or three different. I even seen them in pink at times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you learn a lot about wildlife? Because you're retired. Did you start learning all this or did you already know a lot about?
Well, I've been licensed for probably the past 15 years to by New York State to handle nuisance wildlife.
Oh,
So I'm familiar with a lot of animals. I've
oh,
had the
okay.
oppor- I've had the opportunity to handle um, a few of them from time to time. Um, so I've been out and about.
Yeah. All right. What's next? Ah,
This is a kingbird. Very similar to the flycatcher. It also is an insect-eating bird, and they can be seen along the river. Little shy. If you kind of sit in one place long enough and still enough, they'll they'll come by, but they're typically insect eating.
again, I never noticed them. Oh my
Now,
gosh, what is that?
now this is probably one of my favorites. This is the osprey,
Uh,
and this one's got lunch.
what did he catch?
That's a white sucker, is what that fish is, and you'll be taking that probably back to the nest he was probably headed for. But I have heard stories of people finding the fish in their front yards or in their driveways and wondering who could be doing that. And typically, what it is an osprey flying over and lost grip of its meal and dropped in someone's front yard.
Wouldn't it come back to get it or?
No, no, because if it drops on someone's doorstep, they're not going to come down
Yeah.
and get it. But they're an amazing bird. Some people call them fish hawks. They've got a wingspan of about 5 feet.
Oh my gosh.
They dive into the water for their catch. They'll be totally submersed, and then they come up out of the water with it in their talons, and they have long talons. They're sharper than fish hooks. They're unbelievably sharp. I think they can see them there in that picture that they're just gripping right onto that fish. They're a migratory bird. They come here usually about May, well, a little earlier than May, and they just left about a couple of weeks ago to head south again.
Oh.
So it'll be a few months before we see them again. But they're a beautiful bird, and they're amazing to watch them to fish and catch their meals.
Do you ever see their nests or do you just?
Well, in fact, there is a nest along 690 headed out of town. It's on the right-hand side, and it's on the power poles there on the right. And there's actually a dish or like a pan or a dish that the state put up there for them to build their nest in.
Oh.
And they've been using that. And I'm sure there's other ones around too, but that one is easily seen right from the road.
Oh.
But they're a beautiful bird. And one time they were on the endangered list. I think they're still on the watch list, but the breeding's come back. So, and this is a water iris.
Water iris. Okay.
Water iris. These can be seen along the river in the springtime. Beautiful, beautiful flowers, and the bright yellow. And they, you can. I saw these were down across from the Marble Island. These are down along the trail side, and these will bloom probably from April through June. And they're a beautiful, beautiful flower.
Do you have a particular favorite time of year on the river?
I would have to say springtime, because there's a lot of birds that are just passing through that you might not normally see all year. It's warblers, certain species of ducks. It won't even get into the ducks or geese as far as that part of it goes. I mean, that's a whole nother series of pictures, just those.
Mm-hmm.
But springtime is, I would have to say, would be the favorite, without a doubt.
Winter is when I see the eagles the most, or at least when the leaves are down. Is that when they're mostly here?
Well, the eagles will migrate from the north to the south, and we have here in Baldwinsville are quite fortunate to have a place where we have open water year round, regardless of how cold the weather is.
Mm-hmm.
That's right below the dam. It'll never freeze there, no matter how cold it gets.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it may freeze from below there all the way to up past Cross Lake, and, or it'll freeze up above here all the way up to Mays Point, up towards Montezuma. So we're fortunate we have one of the few open bodies of water, us, Onondaga Lake, and Three Rivers, Phoenix. It draws a lot of attention to migratory birds, diving ducks that are forced off the lakes because the lakes are frozen in.
Mm-hmm.
So you see species of ducks you don't normally see during the summer and stuff. So it's a fun time to be down there.
Yeah.
There's the time I don't enjoy it. This is the great blue heron.
Wow. I don't usually see them with all these other colors on it. Is this because it's a male or?
Well, it could be part of it, but you don't typically get to see them
this
close, and
right.
And it's they're along the river, all along the river, and you'll see them waiting in the shallows, waiting for a frog or maybe a fish to come by, and they'll spear them with that long bill.
Really? They use that as a spear? Oh, that's interesting.
They'll spear them or grab them with it. Yep. And they have quite a wingspan on. They're a large bird, and they're really something to see, and especially in flight.
Yeah.
They're just one of the there's half a dozen, probably we have 3 or 4 different other species of herons around, but they're by far the largest.
Yeah, I was always, every time I saw, oh, that's cute. Who's that? Is that an otter or what is that?
That's a mink.
A mink.
A mink.
Oh my gosh, we have minks here.
Yes. And then there's been a kind of I don't know, wouldn't be an explosion, but what happened was we had an overabundance of rabbits in the area at one time a few years ago. And that, I believe, enticed the mink to come into this area because they enjoy feeding on rabbits. But they also like crayfish, small fish if they can catch them. But I've really enjoyed watching them along the river this year, running up and down the river and diving in the water.
Where do you see them? Like, how can I see them myself?
I saw them on the path that's behind Lock Street. If you stand still enough and long enough, there was a family of them, of 3 or 4 that was right along there at one time. But if you stand there long enough, you'll see one. They're quite small. They're smaller than a ferret.
Oh,
but they can be quite vicious little animals. I mean, they like I said, they will kill rabbits. And I'd heard of one. Someone said they'd taken a picture of one killing a great blue heron.
You're
So
kidding me. Oh my gosh. Now,
no,
how come
no.
this one looks so cute? And why is it looking at you? Like, how did you get that close? Where's your
Well,
camera?
I was fortunate enough, actually, at this particular photo, I was sitting on the park bench that is down by the bridge next to the restaurant there.
Okay.
And I happened just to stop there, and I was sitting there, and all of a sudden up the shoreline comes this mink, and I just was very still. It didn't move, and he didn't notice me. And I have a lens that will take a picture a ways out, and that helps. But so I was able to get him looking right at me. But I've got dozens of pictures of the mink, and they are really a neat animal to watch. And
Wow.
they kind of remind me of the something out of that little creature out of Star Wars. It's with the fur and the little ears on them. But
Oh, yeah. I can't think of what it's called, but I know
I
what you're talking about.
I can't either. But they're a lovely animal, and it's hard to believe that they would. The fur market is gone down, so there isn't the call for them anymore, which is fine with me. But I can't imagine how many of them would take
Yeah.
to make a fur jacket.
No wonder it's so expensive.
I know it takes
If
a
they're
lot of
that
them.
little. Yeah.
I know.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
he's a cutie, or she. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, and I didn't know there was a little white spot on their chins either. I thought that was kind of neat. But they are cute, though. I'll give them that.
Yeah, it's adorable. Ah, what are these?
This is a plant that I happened to see when I was walking down along Marble Street, and it was again along the shoreline. And I just happened to look. I saw the white flowers, but then I saw this grouping that has the falls in between the flowers, in the center of the flowers, and it drew my attention to it. I'd never seen anything quite like that, and they call it I think they call it hobblewood, is what it's called. Hobblewood, yes. And it's quite eye-catching once when you see it and start looking at it. But it's, again, if you slowly walk along, open your eyes up and look around, it's amazing the things that you can see along the river.
Yeah.
It really is. And this is
Woodpecker, right?
a woodpecker.
Thank you. I kept getting them all wrong.
This is a pileated woodpecker.
A what kind?
Pileated woodpecker.
Okay.
And the largest of the woodpecker species that we have. They are probably a little bit smaller than a crow is. That you can see the beak they have on them there. It's amazing the holes that they can drill in wood looking for grubs. And I always, I saw this, I knew exactly who they fashioned Woody Woodpecker after. Was the pileated woodpecker. They you see them more often now than you used to years ago. I think they've made a little bit of a comeback, but they're really something to see, and they sound like someone hitting a hammer against a tree when they're drilling.
And it's fast, right? It's a fast peck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Yep. And they send the chips a flying, but they're a beautiful bird though.
Yeah. Oh, that poor rabbit. Now that I know about the minks, that poor rabbit didn't like hearing what you said about those minks.
No, he didn't. Well, he was a little shy. I wanted to take his picture, and he said no and put his hand up.
Oh.
But
that must be a young rabbit, right?
Yeah, maybe a year old or so, but it's not like it wasn't a bunny, little one.
Right.
But again, this is just one of the things that's what the mink are looking for. And we need to have something to keep the population, in check. If not, then we'd be overrun. But again, it was something. This was on Marble Alley. This rabbit came right through the parking lot down there and just sat there and was just sitting there, cleaning his face, and had paid no attention to me being there. So I took his picture, but I thought it was cute that he just come running through and just stopped for me.
I know. I'm glad he did.
Yes.
That's a very sweet angle. Oh, wow. Is this the mating? Dragonflies mating?
Yes.
Ah.
These are damselflies and what they call the mating wheel. And the male grabs the female by the back of the neck. And after they've mated, most times he will not let go of her until she has laid her eggs.
Oh.
To make sure that she doesn't get with another male, and it'll ensure that his
Right.
line will continue. So he'll hang right on to her until after she lays.
So how long do they have to fly around connected like that?
That I couldn't tell you. That I don't know. I don't imagine.
Don't they die afterwards? The males or
No, I don't believe they do.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe they do. They may. These are the damselflies. They're the small little dragonflies that you see along the river, and these you can see these are on one of the water irises.
Mm-hmm.
The insects that are down there are just if you watch, it's amazing. The bees and the grasshoppers and the crickets, and there's just all kinds of stuff down there. Now this is a hummingbird.
Ah.
Now,
what's it doing, you think?
What it's doing is collecting the spider web. If you look close, you can see that what it's doing is grabbing that spider web that's there. And what it'll do is it'll take that spider web and it will take it to help make its nest.
Wow, because I thought, gee, is this an old picture that's scratched? But no, these are spider webs I'm seeing.
Yep, that's spider webbing. And they use that to help make their nest. And it's something to see them come up there and try and collect all this webbing up in their little bills there, then go running back and come back for more. But
so the spiders must get mad.
Oh yes, I imagine they do. And I'm not sure how they get it all stuck around their bills, and then they go back and form their nest with it.
I've never seen that happen. That's amazing.
I've never seen them actually collecting it before either. So it was something. This is a kingfisher.
Okay. Is that as small as it looks?
No, it's probably about the size of a robin.
Oh, really?
Maybe a little bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And these will sit along the shoreline in branches just above the water, waiting for birds, and they will dive into the water, waiting for small fish, and they will dive into the water after these, and then come up and make a meal out of them.
Must be pretty small fish, I would guess.
Yes, minnows typically is what they're after, and they have a sound that does a chattering noise that they make when they fly. Again, another migratory bird. Fun to watch, though. They're right along the river. Again, it's
never noticed it. This is really amazing. Now I'm gonna have to sit there. I'm just looking at the big stuff saying, wow,
Yeah.
I never noticed. What's that cute little fluffy thing?
That is a rough-winged swallow.
So it's not young. It's like fluffy like that. Okay.
Yeah, it's fluffy like that. It was a cool spring morning, so it may have been fluffing up, but I never knew these existed until this year.
Mm-hmm.
Not that uncommon. I had just never seen them before. But they were on the old embankments that are in the river.
Oh.
he was landing on that. So I took the opportunity to stand by the fence there and wait for him to land and snap his picture. And after I did, I said, I had to go look it up. I didn't know what it was, but it's a rough winged swallow, and another insect eater that you'll see diving in around and above the water top and looking for insects. Pretty little bird. Pretty little bird.
So much happens at that area. My gosh.
There really is. Really is. And this is a Baltimore Oriole.
Mm.
And these are very, I find them a little reluctant to have their picture taken. So I thought I was fortunate to get
I know. I don't think I've ever seen one in flight. First of all, I never realized they come north of Baltimore. Are they? Is it migrating somewhere? Or?
No, they're here.
They're here.
They tend to stay high in the treetops. People do feed them. No, they put out orange slices and grape jelly.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. And they'll come to that. Beautiful bird. And again, right, I happened to be along the river, and this one was in a tree. And I was fortunate enough that I happened to be taking a picture when it took off, and I got lucky and got this picture here. But again, a pretty little bird.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. The big prize of Baldwinsville.
This is what draws a lot of people down to the river with their cameras, is the bald eagle. And understandably, if I've lived here all my life, if you had told me 20 years ago that I'd be able to go downtown in Beeville and see an eagle, I would have said that you're crazy and that it will never, ever happen. It's amazing the work that these two gentlemen did to bring the population back to New York State. It's just unbelievable. And they're an incredible bird. I mean, you don't understand or, to see it sometimes, but they stand about 3 foot tall, and they've got a wingspan of about 7 feet.
Wow. So
if you were to, look how tall your ceilings are, for instance, they're typically like 7.5 feet. That's what their wingspan is.
I've never really noticed that. I've seen them fly, but maybe I haven't. I'm stunned.
Yes.
And I've never seen one catch anything. I just usually see them perched in the tree.
Yep. Nope. And they'll typically fly above the top of the water and grab something they'll grab fish that are near the surface of the water. And we see more of them in the wintertime because they migrate down here from the north. And because we have the open water here in Baldwinsville, it attracts them to come in. So we see more eagles.
Oh, he's got little bracelets on.
Well, yeah, you want to call those bracelets. Yeah, they're bands.
They're bands.
They're bands, and one of them is one that the New York State DEC puts on them, and the other one is one that the Fish and Wildlife Service puts on. And anytime that the eagles are banded here in New York, I've been told that they always carry 2 bands, one from the DEC and one from Fish and Wildlife, so they can keep track. So if anything should ever happen to this bird, they'll be able to know where and when it was banded and the trip it made. I had taken a picture of a seagull that had a band on its leg, and they were able to read enough off the band to tell me that the seagull had been banded in Quebec.
Oh my gosh!
Up along the St. Lawrence River, on an island in the St. Lawrence River, like 12 years ago. Which was amazing. And they even sent me a little certificate thanking me for making them aware of it. So that was pretty neat.
That's really interesting. I didn't know such a thing went on in life. Very interesting.
But to look at the eagle's face, you can tell why they're our national symbol. It's definitely somebody you don't want to mess with him. and fish don't like them either, obviously. Here we have another resident of the shoreline, a dragonfly. I don't know how many different species I've seen along there, but these are typically insect eaters also, and I think they're fun to watch. There's probably, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 different, at least different species of them that you'll see flying along the shorelines. But it's kind of neat, the coloration on them.
How can somebody, oh my gosh, look how pretty that is. What is that, another Baltimore Oriole or no?
No,
What was
this is a barn swallow.
Oh, okay.
And he was sitting on the railing down by the river. He got kind of puffied up, but
Why did he get puffy, you think?
Wind was blowing, it was a little cold out. But I thought that the way he looked, he was looking at me, and their coloration.
It's just a funny picture. Is he really looking at you?
I guess he is.
How close are you to him?
Oh, I was probably 20 feet away. But like the coloration, and again, they're an insect eater, and you'll see them diving on the water tops, looking for insects. Typically, you'll see they'll be in maybe 4 or 5 of them together at a time, diving, and they'll, as their name says, barn swallows. They typically make their nests in barns, buildings. And here we have the rainbow over the river.
When did you get that? And you got a reflection of it, the rainbow.
Yeah.
When did you get this picture?
This was in June, I believe it was. And where I happen to be standing, the rainbow looks like it ends, it's going in like down at the end of Lock Street.
Mm-hmm.
Is where it looks like it's going. But I was able to get the reflection of the rainbow in the river. And I was lucky enough that their water was calm, so you could see the reflection in it.
Yeah.
And was surprised when it came out, but it came out nice.
Yeah, sure did.
Yeah. So again, I enjoy being down the road. You never know what you're going to.
I know, I can see, and clearly I don't know what any of these birds are. Anytime I took a guess, I was wrong.
I know.
So I gotta learn my birds better. That the ones that live along the river. That's really quite amazing. Thank you so much for this lesson here. And now I'm not gonna overlook the little birds anymore, because I'm always staring at the herons. And oh, you didn't do any of those ones that my friend gets mad about. She says they're invasive. The cormorants, is that what they are?
Cormorants.
Yeah,
Yep.
Is that the big black ones that are all over the place?
Yeah. Yeah, they're the ones that the fish eaters, the fishermen don't like them either.
Yeah, the poor guys. So, and you don't even have a picture. You don't even care to take a picture of them. Are you mad at them?
No, I'm not mad at them. I just put them in my duck, goose, swan category.
Okay, all right. You don't even right. They're not that special.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I use them for practice.
Okay. Well, this is your last slide, right, for today?
Yes.
Okay. Your next slide shows how we can get in touch with you, because what if somebody said, oh, gee, I'd love to get one of those pictures and frame it as a gift? Is that something you might do if they contact you? Is that something?
Yeah, that's something we could do. I could, depending on what capabilities they have, I could send them the photo digitally. If they have the way of, you can go to over here to Walgreens. If you have the picture on a card or a disc, you can go there and you can have a print made up just about any size you want.
Well, your stuff is stunning, and I think it's kind of fun to know this is something you really started doing right in your retirement years, or at least getting the better camera for.
Yes.
Yeah, where you can really get. So thank you for spending your time waiting for just the right shot. I
you're
really
welcome.
appreciate it.
Sure.
And so the reason I even have seen your photos is because you load them up to that private group that people can apply to get on if they have anything to do with Baldwinsville, and it's called You're from Baldwinsville, New York, when.
Right. And again, I did that just so people, I see people walking along the shoreline and stuff, and they're looking at their phone and they're texting and doing this. And I think they're missing the real beauty of the river if they, stop for a second just to take a look around.
Well, thank you so much, Paul. And would you ever do a show maybe at the library or anywhere?
I'm considering doing that. It's now that being retired, that's something I'm looking into possibly doing.
I sure hope so. I would love to hear you do a talk on it. And thank you so much for doing this for PAC-B TV. This will be really fun. So,
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And let me know in a year or so if you want to do more.
Sure. Yes.
Because I'd love
always happy to.
Because, I know you only gave me a small percentage of images that I've seen that you've done from
I literally have thousands of pictures. So
so you know what, you let me know if you do another PowerPoint of different kinds or different shots. Let me know. Go, hey, you gonna do this again? Because I think people are going to love this, and I think it's a thrill for anyone that wants to come to the Lock 24 area of Baldwinsville. You can really see a lot. I see a lot all times of day, not just the mornings and the evenings. I see it all day long, but now at least I know when I should go. The real hot time is so I will go, because a lot of boaters come, and I'm sure they enjoy it too when they see these. Well, thank you, Paul. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.